Friday here on Titan's Return Week, which means we go back to the deluxes, but this time we are looking at someone who was originally a target master when he was given a master partner. But everyone is a Titan master now, which means he's a headmaster. So just pretend that it makes sense as we go into Blurr. And this is the Blurr I've been waiting for. So yeah, I reviewed the previous one, which was very much IDW in style, but it was also just a remold of the Drift toy. This is unmistakably Blurr. This is the futuristic race car. Well, so it's almost got like a hover car, or more to the point, like almost like it's like a super futuristic Indy car or something. Like he looks like a space racer vehicle, very sleek. Very, very sharp, and very narrow too. Like this thing looks like it should be going about 400 miles an hour. This thing looks like it should be on an F-Zero track. I love Blurr's vehicle mode, and that is a very nice modern incarnation of it. As you can see, as no surprise, he is cast in blue plastic, which kind of leans more toward the aquamarine shade, I feel, than the G1 toy. He also does have a dull blue, as well as a darker blue, and then a pale blue. Lots of blues going on, at least in the vehicle mode. That will change, but for now we will enjoy the variety that we see in front of us. In keeping with Blurr's original look, he is very sleek all the way through and does not have a whole lot of paneling and molding to him. It's all kept in very sleek lines. I will say, considering how the parts all integrate with each other, I love how it all kind of flows together. You know, because parts of this are going to become arms, parts of this are going to become legs, but it all kind of looks like one solid vehicle from here, and that's really, really cool. Toward the back, we even see thrusters on molded in on everything in here, as well as on the sides. Works extremely well. Up top, that little airfoil antenna thing, I'm not even sure what it's supposed to be. It was part of his head in G1, I remember that. So this, of course, means being a headmaster. That is not part of his head anymore. And then we have the Autobot sigil, bright and red up front. So, the vehicle itself, quite good. This is the exact update to Blurr I wanted. And hey, he rolls kind of well, which is really what I would hope out of someone who's supposed to be one of the fastest, if not the fastest, Autobot of them all. Now, for playability, he does not quite have everything that Hardhead has going on. For starters, he does come with a weapon that can be mounted to these little peg holes on the sides. It's a tight fit, but yep, there it goes. So he has some armaments that he can use. That's always good. And he does have two little ports here on the side, so if you do happen to have a Titan Master handy, you can actually peg him on. And once again, I do kind of question the safety of this, and I thought just kind of cruising around standing on a tank was dangerous. This is a high-speed vehicle. This, like, I don't know gravitationally how this, like, even magnets would not be good in this situation. Okay, so yeah, it's silly, but it's fun, and allows him to have a couple of guys riding along with him. So that it's silly, but it's fun. We open up the cockpit, and we can actually take out his proper Titan Master. Detailed cockpit too. Nice cushy leather seats. Corinthian interior. I don't even know what that means. He's got some gauges up at the front too, so that's all good. Close it back down. Sleek mode. I like it. Alright, and then we take a look at the Titan Master, which is Hyperfire, based on Haywire, his original Target Master character. He's got quite a bit of paint going on. Black, or actually closer to gunmetal gray for the legs. Silver going through most of the arms, like the front of the shoulders as well as the inner arms are all painted up nice and well. And then a little bit of the light blue for his mouth. So he does have a distinct look to him, and from all the Titan Masters looked at so far, easily the most heavily painted. So that's nice to see. As usual with the Titan Masters, very basic articulation, ball-jointed neck, which has some range of motion as well as rotation. Ball-jointed shoulders, which really don't do a whole lot. It's up and down motion, a little bit in and out. The thighs are one piece, and then the legs are another piece, and hinges just allow this kind of motion, and that's about all you got. But hey, at least it is well molded and well painted in this case. So, that out of the way. Transformation time. Let's get this guy into robot mode and actually see how well this all came out. I'm going to start by unclipping a whole lot of things. This guy is pretty solidly stuck. I'm going to move these out. And I will admit, this is the one I haven't transformed much just because I got to him first. So I've been transforming the others more, but this one I kind of saved for review, so we'll see how this goes. I'm going to come on. Hinge these forward. That's going to form up the arms. So we get ready for them. Can also unclip this, fold that to the back. This little slot that's going to fold in there. For the legs, come on, if I remember how to do this. All right, so open those up, fold everything out. Knees on a double hinge, so that works out pretty well. Unclip. That gets folded to the inside. Fold the feet down here. Clip and clip. Everything together? Yeah, everything together. All right. So from there, need to lift this up so we can fold his seat down. That creates his midsection. Rotate the arms down like so and double hinge them up. Connect them there. Backpack goes down. And with that, all we really need to do is stick the head on, which is as simple as folding everything up. Make sure the arms are straight and everything's connected in so all the groove lines flow correctly. Now here's the neat thing on this one. It's Blurr, so he has to have his little mohawk, so that actually gets pushed up into its proper position. And I'm going to connect the two together to create Blurr in his robot mode. Now, mold-wise, looking quite good as a representation of G1 Blurr. Actually works quite well. Color-wise, not so much. That's where the figure starts falling for me. But we're going to get to that here in a bit. First off, we talk about the head. And the head is definitely in the G1 Blurr variety. You know, gone are the super sleek lines and the flowed back hair looking stuff that was on the IDW design of the previous toy. And now it's all about the one little mohawk thing up top. And very much the G1 Blurr head. I do like how the sides, the arms of the Titan Master has some molding that flows into the front of the head. It actually integrates it a lot better than some of the other Titan Master heads I have seen. So as we can see, a lot of the details carried over from the vehicle mode. The thrusters are now up on the shoulders, and you do still have some extra parts here hanging off of the legs. So it's not the smoothest of transformations, but he does come across still quite sleek and slender. He is in the svelte category of robots, which I do like every now and then, and it's extremely appropriate for Blurr to be as such. Also, part I really like about this transformation, the shield, which was a separate piece in the G1 toy, can actually form as a backpack without having to remove it. That's a very good design element. But if you do want it removed, it does actually remove. Quite tightly pegged in, but hey, you can actually remove it. That is an exceptional job. Thank you very much, designers. You were on your A game that day. I will question the paint department, though. Now, he does still have the cockpit paint, so he does have a little bit of variation to his chest, but for the most part, he is solid blue now. Like, my favorite thing about Blurr was, like, creating this interesting-looking robot mode from just multiple shades of blue. Like, I reviewed the G1 toy, and he has so much blue going on, and almost, like, only one shade here, and, like, very sparse showings of other shades. You do have the pale blue, and you do have the dark blue for the legs. I do like how the Titans Return figures tend to have little details like that look like they're G1 stickers. That's a very interesting little touch for this aesthetic. But for the most part, like 80% of that robot is the exact same shade of blue. And it makes me wonder where Hasbro went, because I'm like looking at all my like Energon and Cybertron figures where they repainted. Like I've got guys like this, like Backstop. They tinted him purple just because they didn't want it to be all gray. They didn't want to, Hasbro used to never want to release anything in a single color. This is a full deluxe release in 2016, and it's basically a single color. Even the shade of blue on the legs is barely a variation. In the heavy light, you can barely tell the difference. That's unfortunate. So, mold-wise, everything is hitting me so well. Deco-wise, oh my god, you guys missed. So, let's go ahead and just take a look at articulation, I guess. Head does rotate, is ball jointed, so it has a little bit of rock and a little bit of roll. You have biceps that, or not biceps, but you have shoulders that hinge up and down as well as up and down motion. So unfortunately, not the best arm articulation. It does feel limited. It's not actual universal motion, and you're gonna find it's not going to get into every pose that you're after, unfortunately. It does have bicep rotation to make up for it a little bit, as well as a 90-degree elbow and a wrist rotation. That all works well and good. Come on. Just not as free as a ball joint. Waist rotation. You have thighs that have no restrictions whatsoever. Excellent there. Thigh rotation and a knee bend that goes beyond the 90. And nothing of really any use in the feet, unfortunately. You have that, but it's not really going to come in handy for many poses. So he does have at least a good range of articulation, which I would expect out of a speedy character like this. Those shoulders are a little bit restricted, though. That I'm not too big on. I'm not sure why. It feels like that should have been ball jointable. I've seen worse that was ball jointed. Oh well. So, for a little bit of added play value, we can give him his gun, painted completely silver. That's nice. As well as the shield. We do have multiple places for it to peg, as we can use these pegs on the sides in order to mount it, as well as mounting it on his arm like so. So he can have his full G1 armament. Or, if we want to be a little bit more silly, because Titan Masters is all about being silly from time to time, we can actually take these components and, if I can do this without nails, flip this little tab out. That little tab is going to let this balance in this correct orientation. And with it like that, we can mount the gun right there. And where am I going with this? This is where I'm going with this. Let's bring a Titan Master in, like Clobber here. I can sit Clobber right there. Clobber's little peg on his feet should fit into that little groove there at the bottom. Once it does, we actually have like a little attack sled mode for him. It's almost kind of a cute little way of integrating another little bit of Titan Master playability into the toy set, where like Blurr just like throws his weapons together and another Titan Master comes in and starts strafing Decepticons from the sides while Blurr moves in for the kill. It's kind of an amusing situation, and it's a really neat little way of integrating the weapons and giving them a little bit more playability. I actually quite like that, and I know some people were enterprising enough to figure out that these little side pegs also let this become something of a sidecar if you take him back to vehicle mode without the shield attached. It does create a goofy looking car, but hey, it also lets you have it also gives you a sidecar for the vehicle mode. It's bizarre, but that's Titan's Return. Like, they do, but this toy line does bizarre things from time to time, and it gives you a lot more fun for your money out of these. So that is Blurr from Titan's Return. The mold is exceptional. I quite enjoy it. It's got enough articulation to convey the character. The vehicle mode is amazingly good. Transformation is nice and solid. I like this little extra bit of integration for Titan Masters. The only flaw, the only thing that holds it back is that lack of deco. Man, like, you look at the Takara one and it just nails so much. Oh, and I guess that could stand to be a little bit firmer, but stupid little mohawk never wants to stay up. But yeah, this is one where I can wholeheartedly recommend the mold. If you can spend out the money, I'd say wait for the Takara release because it's so much better. It's got the G1 Blurr paint job to it. But yeah, if you're stuck with just the US retail or you don't want to pay the extra for the import, this is still a really, really solid toy.